Hey everyone, it's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We are glad to be with you for another live 2 hours of cruise control. Les, we've
Yep.
got some reveals from the Chicago Auto Show. That should be interesting.
Yep. Things are hot, and car-wise in Chicago. The rest of the city, of course, is cold. Yeah, you're right. We've got a bunch of things going on. It's midwinter, but the manufacturers don't care. They're putting stuff out the door.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Chevy Trailblazer. We'll talk
Yep.
about some new things from Subaru and the new Crosstrek, which, if you
Yep.
remember, was supposed to happen last year, but now it's happening this year, which is
And Nissan is cranking away.
yeah, Nissan's cranking away. A lot going on. So when we come back on Cruise Control, we're going to tell you all about the new reveals, some new technology, Turbo Head. We'll tell you what that is.
That's right. That's has nothing to do with me.
All right. And a whole lot more when we come back on Cruise Control. Be right back.
I'll come in.
This is Cruise Control,
Control.
your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson.
Control.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars.
Control.
Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air.
Control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin
Control.
because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
We, in fact, are on cruise control, and so are you, and welcome to our on-air automotive magazine. And of course, you know us. I'm Les Jackson. That other guy is Fred Staub. We have been in your living rooms, at least listening-wise, for many years, and as you've come to expect, we have a lot to talk about. So let's do it.
Yeah, we do have a lot to talk about, Les, and we're going to start off with a dig into the JD Power Dependability Study. What brands move to the top, and what causes the most problems when it comes to new vehicles? Some of those answers are new. Some of those answers, well, they've been around for a while, and it's kind of interesting why someone hasn't come up with a fix for them.
Well, that's right. No one's come up with a solution for the high price.
No, no, it's getting higher.
And it's getting higher. And over at Chevrolet, they've updated the Trailblazer crossover. Very popular, sells well, and I kind of was ready for an update.
Yeah, I think so. We'll tell you a little bit about it, and a lot of it has to do with infotainment, which is so important to get updated. So we'll tell you all about that. Also, Volkswagen's got plans for a U.S.-bound pickup, and it's going to be electrified. You know, VW's been talking about getting into the pickup truck world. It's not going to be a big body on frame, but it will be something similar to, let's say, a Maverick.
That is right. And maybe kind of, and we won't know anything for sure, but maybe kind of a little nod to the old VW bus pickups. Anyway, Nissan has plans to go pole to pole with its electric ARIYA, and it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, look at the size of those tires.
Those are some big tires.
You need some big flares. You need to cut away half the side of the vehicle to get them in
but
there.
they're gonna go to the poles.
Yeah, that is pretty cool stuff for sure, and we'll tell you all about that. And also, we're going to talk tech, Turbo Head. Well, what does it mean, Les? It means a turbocharger in the head of the vehicle, right? Built into the cylinder head. Pretty cool, right?
That is cool. Be interesting how they cool it.
Well, I'm sure there'll be some engineering. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so all that's coming up on Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. Les, what are you excited about this hour? What do you? I think that electric pole to pole setup is pretty cool. So
that is really cool. I wouldn't want to be on that trip.
No.
but it is really cool. Just 100 and some years ago, it took Scott and those people weeks to get to the pole with lots of problems. Now you can drive there,
That's right.
sort of.
Sort of.
And I think the Trailblazer is another thing I'm kind of not excited but interested in, because it's kind of one of those products that's invisible.
Yeah, but it's a good value. It's a real
Yeah.
good value. You get everything in there. Of course, it's a 3-cylinder engine, but I drove one. I was pretty happy with it. I thought it was pretty cool stuff. So, hey, that's all coming up when we come back, and a lot to come on Cruise Control. So stay tuned. I'm Fred Staab. He's Les Jackson. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. That's the show you're dialed into. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. We are glad you're along for the ride. Les, we're going to talk a little bit about some great information if you're buying a vehicle, and it is the J.D. Power Dependability Study that was just released this week. The 2023 version, U.S. Vehicle Dependability Study, or VDS. And
Right.
one
Very
of the
important.
very important, yes. And one of the key takeaways is a takeaway that's kind of been around for a while, and it's infotainment systems. Infotainment systems continue to be the most problematic when it comes to cars. Because a lot of it relates to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay connectivity, and also voice recognition, and not enough power plugs, USB ports, and navigation systems with inaccurate data. Now, let's take some of those. I have said that USB plugs are the new cup holders. The more you have,
Well,
the better you are, right?
I can't tell you how many people I just chat with who say, how come they don't put more USB ports in the cars? And of course, I always say, well, they're still learning how many people want. But meanwhile, just get one of your get a plug-in, multi USB port.
Well, the thing is, who uses the 12 volt? I'd like some of our listeners to say, do you use your 12 volt for anything?
I do, and I realize I'm at a minority here, but I do because I frequently bring my Garmin nav system
Wow.
even with me, even though the vehicle has one, because I just kind of like to.
You're rocking it old school, my friend.
Listen, I'm guilty.
All right. Well, that's fine. I like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but I agree. Sometimes the connection is a bit kludgy. I had one vehicle where I did not realize the cable wasn't all the way in, and it said, "Oh, that's not available on this vehicle." I was like, "Well, sure it is. I just read the Monroney. I just read the window sticker. It's certainly available, but I'll just do audio." So I was just getting audio directions, but no map, no video map. So I could see how this would be difficult for people. You and I are lucky that we can report on this, and we're used to doing this in all the different cars. But, I mean, when it works, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are great. I think the key is probably in the future, better connectivity will be due to being wireless. And
That's right. Plus, voice recognition, is a problem. Well, of course it's a problem. You're expecting this software to recognize different vocal levels and tones and vocal styles and accents.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I remember when it first came out, and I was working on a show, and a guy said, "Well, watch what I got in my car." And he said this, call home, and he must have said it like 15, 20 different ways.
Yeah.
And then he just pressed the button. And I was like, all right, well, that didn't work well. But that was a long
Yep.
time ago. But also, the dependability study from J.D. Power says technology improves appeal for parts that seem outdated. For example, scores for vehicle condition improve when the vehicles receive over-the-air software updates to infotainment systems that are perceived to not be meeting today's standards. Well, that falls into what I also say as well. Your car is becoming your phone. Your phone updates all the time and stays fairly current for a number of years. So I think that that's valid, and people are seeing more of a having more of a phone-like relationship with their car.
That's true, but you do have to bear in mind that it's a machine and you got to maintain it.
Yeah.
And it's expensive. So,
well, one
tricky.
thing that's not mentioned here that drives me crazy is cheap materials. Plastic that scratches, gets all scarred up, and you're just using the car, you bump it with something and it gets a scar in it, and then it looks crappy. Now, that's not listed on, that doesn't mean anything about dependability. It's just user experience. It looks like worn right away.
Well, that's what kind of makes you get rid of a car when it's really got plenty of life left in it. You just don't like it.
Yeah, you don't like it. It appears. Yeah. Do you remember the term dog-eared? That's an old term. Dog-eared. Yeah, it meant it's curled over on the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm selling my car because it's getting shabby.
Shabby. Yeah. Exactly. All right. So let's talk about the most dependable models. And it's interesting. I would never think this one. I would believe the brand, but I wouldn't believe the model. The Toyota CHR, that strange crossover that is still in their lineup. You familiar with that, where the rear handles for the rear doors are up in, basically up in the C-pillar?
I have not seen one of those on the road. I don't think ever.
I drove one a long time ago as a test vehicle, and I just didn't quite get it, but apparently it's reliable. And the Lexus RX.
Of course.
Yeah, they're both very reliable. This is according to the J.D. Power study. Biggest problem solvers. Who doesn't like that? So the biggest problem solvers, the top three brands with the greatest improvement in number of problems were Ram, Volvo, and Nissan. So three brands that are fixing issues. That's good
for them.
Yeah. And then for another brand, Tesla was officially included for the first time.
Yeah, that's right, because they finally brought some of their problems down to the level where everyone else fits.
Well, you look at the numbers. I'll tell you about this. They were included in this. Of course, J.D. Power is not given access to owner information by Tesla unless it's required by certain states. So they'll remain ineligible for awards. But problems per 100 vehicles. So best improved Nissan had 35 problems per 100 vehicles. Volvo 41 problems per 100 vehicles. And Ram 77 problems per 100 vehicles. Tesla has 242 problems per 100 vehicles.
That would be more.
that would be more.
It would be too many.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, Land Rover is right there at 273, and Lincoln,
which
and
is
Mercedes.
Odd. Yeah.
They're all, it's a little troubling.
But let's talk about the good ones, Les. Lexus ranks highest overall in vehicle dependability with a score of 133 problems per 100.
Yep.
Genesis,
Of course.
Cadillac, BMW, and Kia.
And Mini.
And Mini. And then Buick, Chevrolet, Mitsubishi, and Toyota. You knew Toyota would be up there.
That's kind of, if you're buying a used car, wouldn't you sort of look for something you like in that top tier?
Well, that's the whole idea here. I think it's, if you are headed out to buy a used vehicle, you look for these studies. You educate yourself and make yourself aware because, it can save a lot of heartache.
It's funny. I would not have assumed Mitsubishi was up there.
Me neither. But good for them. I think the brand is improving. I think it's, making some big strides. And they have some great new material. The Outlander,
Right.
Outlander Sport, or both.
Of course, they don't
vehicles.
make a sedan.
No, that's true.
But
I think they just can't afford to.
I'm sure that's the trouble.
Yeah.
But it's good to know if you're looking for a Nissan, for instance. It's right there with the, with the good folks.
Yep. Well, we're going to be back
Cool.
on Cruise Control in just a minute. Stay tuned because we're going to be talking about some new vehicle releases from Chevrolet and Volkswagen.
Welcome back. Welcome back to
Cruise
Cruise Control.
Control.
There we are. Welcome back, everyone. We just gave you a nice taste of the JD Power features. You should go on to JD Power's websites if you want to look up all the brands. But one brand that is doing well is Chevy. And the Trailblazer is for 2024 is looking pretty nicely refreshed. It looks not completely different to me, but curiously different.
Chevy has put together quite a little, a nice little graphic, and I can tell you what's new for 2024. I really like this vehicle, by the way. I like the fact that it has two-tone paint.
I like that.
I like the front end on it, and I like the fact that they've kind of, this is built in South Korea, and they've kind of taken a page out of Kia's playbook by liberally sprinkling it with nice amenities. Problem is, during the chip problems, some of those amenities you didn't get, like a heated steering wheel and heated seats, but that will be coming back. But new for 2024 on the Chevy Trailblazer, 11-inch diagonal center display and 8-inch diagonal driver information center.
Okay.
The displays just keep getting bigger, Les.
Eventually it'll just be one big screen.
It will. You'll be
windshield.
You'll be inside of it. Yeah. Front fascia, exterior lighting, and grille designs for different trims are all new. Wheel designs for all trims, larger 19-inch wheels for RS.
Getting hard to find a 16-inch wheel these days.
It sure is. New exterior colors, copper harbor, metallic, and cacti green.
Interesting name.
Cacti green, I believe, is the same color as the new E-Ray Corvette.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the RS version of this is a very cool version. It's almost styled after the Camaro in a good way, but with better outside visibility.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I think this is an interesting vehicle for the price point. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, 3-cylinder power. Two choices: a 1.2 turbo with 137 horsepower, that is standard, and a 1.3-liter turbo with 155 horsepower available. It's a CVT transmission for the 1.2 and 1.3 in front-wheel drive, or a 9-speed automatic for the 1.3 all-wheel drive. I drove this vehicle, and I was pleased by the performance. You'd never know it was a 3-cylinder engine. It did a great job. It got this new one is not rated for mileage, but it got the one I drove was in the 30s for sure. So good little vehicle.
Yeah, it's think of way back when a 3-cylinder engine and something like a
Geo Metro.
Morris Minor or Geo Metro.
Geo Metro. That was the first 3-cylinder.
You were sort of scared on the interstate.
You thought like this is just not going to work,
Yeah.
And so there you have it. That's pretty cool stuff. Let's look at another story here from Volkswagen. Volkswagen is going to be building a pickup, and it is going to be coming to the U.S., but it's not going to be a pickup like you're used to. It's not going to be a Silverado or an F-150 or a Ram. No. It is going to be more like the Ford Maverick or some of the other vehicles like a Honda Ridgeline, right?
Yes, certainly that level. I'm interested to see what it'll look like, but and I kind of hope it looks cute.
It's not going to be retro though, because the designer, the designer that is doing retro work, I believe, was let go. The new head of VW said he didn't want any retro designs.
Now he's designing grandfather clocks.
That's right. Now he's hand carving, but
carving. Yeah.
They have a pickup truck. It's based on the Ford Ranger, and it is the Amarak. I don't know why they do these names, but that will not be brought stateside for sure. But this actually comes out of Volkswagen North American CEO Pablo Desi, who was interviewed by CarBuzz at the Chicago Auto Show this week. The takeaway, though, by the folks at CarBuzz was that this will only come in an electrified version, so it'll either be hybrid or plug-in hybrid, which is good news, don't you think?
Well, I think it'll be a welcome product. I think these small trucks are rapidly getting a lot of appeal. Otherwise, pickups have just become kind of too big.
Yeah, well, for some people, yeah, I certainly think so. I just got out of the Ford Maverick, and I was pretty impressed with it.
Oh, it's great.
Great vehicle.
Drives smooth, quiet.
Yeah, drove very well and had a lot of the utility. It only has a 4.5-foot bed, but still, you put an extender on that, and you can get a lot of stuff back there. So we'll have a full at-the-wheel review of that coming up in a little bit. But let's talk about another reveal, and that comes from Subaru. Subaru, of course, we've been waiting for their reveal of their Crosstrek, and they revealed it. And we'll have a little bit more about this later on. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, though. It is a vehicle that is all new, believe it or not. It doesn't look all new, but it is all new. Same powertrains carry over, new interior with a new nav system. So they've updated it, especially since we were just talking about the J.D. Power dependability study with nav. If the nav is not updated, people think it's outdated. So
right.
Yeah. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later on Cruise Control. When we come back, we're just going to keep going. We're going to talk about Nissan. Nissan is going to be traveling to the pole, both north and south. So stay tuned. Because
that's a drive.
We will be right back with Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Are you ready for an adventure, Les Jackson?
I am always ready for some adventures.
All right. Well, how about Nissan? Listen to what they're going to be doing. They are taking a highly modified one-off Nissan ARIYA, which is their yet-to-be-released electric SUV, right? I don't think it's been released. It's one of those vehicles that they talked about a lot. I don't think they've released it yet to the public. But that's not a problem because there's going to be a pole-to-pole, as in north to south, expedition with this new electric vehicle, 27,000 kilometers from the magnetic North Pole to the South Pole. And modifications, of course, to the car have been intentionally minimal.
Yeah.
Well, of course, they've made ginormous tires, put ginormous tires on it.
Of course.
No changes to the battery or powertrain, but they had to adapt the suspension to the 39-inch tires. Now, I have to say, you can't just bolt that onto like a hub that's used to a 22-inch wheel.
I mean, 39 inches is, it's just 13 inches short of 4 feet.
Yeah. The 39-inch BF Goodrich tires.
No, it's actually 9 inches short of 4 feet.
Chris Ramsey is leading this. He is, believe it or not, a self-confessed coffee lover. He will have access to a specially integrated espresso machine with a good supply of sustainable coffee.
Wow. Well, I would need some serious amount of coffee.
So there's also, and this is going to be interesting, they're using a drone they can launch directly from the utility unit of the roof, which I think that's something you're going to see a lot more in emergency vehicles. So they can take video of themselves. I think that's slick. I'd actually like that for at-the-wheel reviews. I think that would be pretty cool.
And they've got their own portable charging unit. It's wind-driven, solar.
That'll be interesting.
Well, it's very windy down at the base of South America. And obviously you can't drive across the ocean between Tierra del Fuego and Antarctica, but they'll be on a ship of some kind.
Well, you could have that windmill going while you're on the ship for sure.
Oh, sure.
A packable, lightweight wind turbine and solar panels. All right.
Yeah.
Well, sounds interesting. Sounds cool.
Now,
talk about charge. You have to bring your own charging with you there. I mean,
well, sure.
You're not going to have Electrify America.
No, and as far as I know, there are no service pull-offs like on the New Jersey Turnpike.
So you can get Chick-fil-A or something.
Yeah, that's right. The Sbarro pizza. I guess. Well, of course, all of this is arranged with all the various countries you're driving through. I'm sure you've got lots and lots of permits and assistance from.
We call them fixers in the industry. They fix problems. Like someone says, "Well, you can't go through this road; it's closed." Let me have a discussion with you, if you know what I mean.
This is very, very cool, and I'm sure we'll see. We'll see it the whole expedition on some kind of TV special, but they'll weave it into some commercials. It's exciting. I wouldn't do it, but I would drive from Alaska to Brazil.
That's quite a long ways.
That's a long trip, but I think it would be a fun trip.
All right. Well, I've got something for you, Les, that is a little bit closer to home. How about going to an off-road Bronco school? The Bronco Raptor Off Rodeo. It's a school to professionally teach owners high and low speed off-roading.
Wow.
It's going to happen in Las Vegas, and it is the all-new Bronco Off-Rodeo Raptor experience. It's included with the purchase of a 2022 or 2023 Bronco Raptor, and you get a full day of professionally instructed driving experience designed just for this. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
That's pretty good. And I think that if you own a Bronco or plan to buy one, that would be a really useful thing to go to, because even though you think you're good at something, you learn a lot.
Well, I think you actually have to buy it to go there.
Oh, you mean you have to drive your own?
No. You drive one of theirs, but you get the course for buying one. You get the one-day course for buying a Bronco. When you buy a Bronco, they give you this.
Okay.
So, but it was designed by a number of people, including Baja and King of Hammers champions, world-class off-roader drivers like Vaughn Gitlin and Lauren Healy and Brad Lovell, plus interesting leading off-road experts like Bob Burns. And it sounds like an incredible day, which it's out in Las Vegas. You can turn that into a full vacation. And the good thing is, yes, you don't have to use your own Bronco, because I wouldn't want to take my brand new Bronco and do that.
We've learned over decades of testing vehicles that when you're on these special adventures, you always want to use the manufacturer's vehicle.
Right. If someone
you're
says,
probably going to make a mistake.
We'll give you a track day. Well, okay, I'll use your car so I don't burn up my tires, right?
That is right.
Yeah.
They're expecting some people to
flip something over.
Have a brush with stupidity.
They call it an off-track incident. That's what.
Yes.
An off-track incident, not a crash. Off-track.
That's right.
Excursion.
Excursion from the designated route.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, I know you love it. You want to talk some tech?
Absolutely.
All right. Over to FCA and Stellantis. Still have trouble saying that. Stellantis. This comes from CarBuzz, and they have their person inside the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and they have uncovered a turbocharger built right into the cylinder head. So basically, it will be part of the cylinder head. It will effectively delete the exhaust manifold, and it will delete many parts and all be all in one casting. And they would save on things like bolts, studs, gaskets, and also reduce points of failure. What do you think of this?
Absolutely. Because that's where things fail. That's where things leak.
Mm-hmm.
Oil lines, when external, they leak.
Yeah.
So if all that's integrated, man, makes a lot of sense.
Would you gain power with a setup like that too? I mean, there's less restriction.
Probably. You're gaining efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So if gaining efficiency usually means you gain power.
And plumbing has always been a problem with turbocharging.
That's right.
It's always taken up a lot of space. It leads to failures. So maybe this is a pretty good thing, huh?
Yeah, it's got an internal oil channel for the turbo, just like the oil galleries going everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
That would, that just seems like something so clever. Why hasn't someone done it before?
I don't know. And of course, the racing world will make it out of billet. They'll make a billet head with the turbocharger housing on there, and it will only cost $130,000. That's for one head and one turbo.
Yeah, exactly.
So pretty cool stuff. I have to say, let's take a step back and think about this. Turbocharging used to be like this mysterious thing. Now it's so common in the auto industry.
Back in the late 70s, you started seeing some cars come with turbochargers.
And big stickers. That said turbo.
And you actually had a whole procedure. When you turned them off, you had to idle the car for 30 seconds to a minute.
Remember, they had timers where you could put it on, you'd shut the key off, but the engine wouldn't shut off for, like you say, a minute or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Now I mean they become really part of engine design.
Yep. All right. Well, one thing that's not part of engine design, but it is part of our show, is At the Wheel Reviews. I'm going to be back with an At the Wheel review of a very efficient sedan. Yeah, sedan.
Wow.
Cruise control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. And we have got an at-the-wheel review of an incredibly efficient vehicle. This is up in the lower 50s for MPG, which is pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yes, we are going to review the Toyota Camry Hybrid. If you haven't driven a Camry in some time, I think you'll be surprised by this one, because the Camry is no longer a boring car. It hasn't been for a number of years. It is a pretty exciting vehicle, high-quality vehicle. It is a really luxurious vehicle on the inside, and this one gets even better because it is a hybrid. And it is a hybrid that's based around Toyota's Hybrid System 2, which, believe it or not, Les, debuted in 2007.
Wow.
And it has been going strong ever since. It has a 2.5-liter dynamic force 4-cylinder engine and an electric motor. Those are the two main components. And I meant to say that engine has a 14-to-1 compression ratio.
Wow, that's right.
That's
up there.
pretty stout there for the street, right? The engine can produce 176 horsepower, 163 pound-feet of torque. You pair that with a 118 horsepower motor, and the total hybrid system net output is 208 horsepower, which is really impressive. And I found this thing to be basically pretty quick when you drove it. Toyota does hybrid systems the best of anyone, and the transitions between the hybrid mode and the non-hybrid mode were incredible. I drove this on the hybrid. I drove this on the hybrid. I drove this on the highway and was, impressed with the quietness of the vehicle, how it would move from hybrid to non-hybrid modes so smoothly, and in a very luxurious package, really. This is capable of 53 miles to the gallon, which is basically incredible. You feel like you're not putting fuel in this engine at all, and you are traveling. So you got to wonder how you're doing this. But it is very well equipped. Our vehicle was the XLE model, and what's interesting about this, you can get a number of different models of this vehicle. Normally, a hybrid, it comes in one model, but you have SE, XSE, and XLE models. And as I say, 51 city, 53 highway, 52 combined. So pretty impressive numbers on this vehicle. Let's look at some of the things you get. You get a Audio Plus 9-inch touchscreen with 6 speakers. USB media port, 2 USB charge ports. Yep, that's pretty popular stuff. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, that was wired. Lever trimmed, heated front seats, power driver and passenger seats, dual zone climate control, smart key system. You get the driver. We had the optional driver assist package, which was $1,430, which involved a 10-inch color head-up display, a bird's eye view camera. Gotta love those for parking. You can't go wrong with that. Intelligent clearance sonar with rear cross-traffic braking. Rear cross-traffic braking, I tell you, that is so critical these days with large SUVs, especially if you're in a sedan that's lower. It will basically stop the vehicle if you're going to back out and can't see. Then it had ventilated front seats. Beautiful leather in this. All ventilated, beautiful. I think they called it Chateau. Chateau is the color of the leather. The exterior is called Blueprint. Cool name for that. By the way, this is built in Georgetown, Kentucky, USA. So,
wow.
It
course,
is a USA-made vehicle.
Toyota has 11 factories in the U.S.
That is incredible. So let's talk about what else you get. The heated steering wheel, adaptive headlights for $615. Ours had the navigation package, premium audio 8-inch touchscreen navigation, JBL speakers with subwoofer, amplifier, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Sirius XM with a 3-month trial, a power tilt and slide moonroof. And then these were a couple of interesting things. I don't quite know what they are, but they're called out on the sticker. A drop ship indicator and an owner's portfolio. I think an owner's portfolio is just, I think that is just the portfolio that they put the owner's manual in, which sounds weird to call that out, but I guess that is important to call out. It had carpeted trunk mat and floor mat set, $239, and all in. With a delivery of 1,025. All in was $38,369. So $38,369. Now,
that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. I have found that hybrids cost in the neighborhood of $35,000 to $40,000. You're getting a great sedan. You're getting a bulletproof drivetrain. You're getting a vehicle that's going to last you a long time. Yep. It's stylish, it's luxurious, it's reliable, and it gets 53 miles to the gallon. And, it just makes a lot of sense. The thing's going to go forever, and it's going to give you lots of great long trips without a lot of cost. So I'm a real fan of this Camry hybrid. Not a lot new for the 2023 model year. Some new colors and things like that. But they have this thing called a auto glide control feature that helps you enhance fuel efficiency by calculating efficient coasting logic. And AGC can be activated only when the vehicle is being operated in the Eco Drive mode. That's the mode I stayed in, and I thought had great performance. I never felt like, oh wow, this is a slow vehicle or anything like that. I always had great performance with this. AGC it will alert the driver of reduced engine braking, and it basically the AGC limits the loss of the vehicle speed through engine braking, acting more like a neutral gear to allow longer coasting. So if you get into techniques, hypermiling techniques, that's something you would want to be aware of. Also, got to talk out about the packaging of the lithium-ion battery. It is under the rear seat and does not reduce passenger room or trunk capacity in any way, shape, or form. And actually, this even had a temporary spare in there, which I've started checking that on all our reviews, Les, because I think it's good to know. People should check if they have a spare or not before they get stuck. So what's not to like about this? I really can't come up with anything that I didn't like about it, because it is just a great vehicle. It really is. People would say, well, it's not an SUV. Yeah, but it's a sedan that will ride comfortably, quietly, and it will get you where you want to go with some style, a lot more style than Camrys of the past. And I wanted to check before this review. I didn't get a chance to do it, but is every model of Toyota, every model that Toyota sells, is that available with a hybrid? I almost think they're almost at 100%, aren't they?
It's got to be pretty close. I don't know about the
pickup trucks have hybrid drivetrains. The big
maybe
pickup trucks.
Actually, maybe every model is. We'll have to check.
We'll have to check on that. It'll require a little bit of research, but great. Hats off to the Toyota hybrid system too. I did not realize that had been around since 2007. Of course, they've changed engines and things like that and upgraded batteries. But what's next from Toyota? I tell you, when it comes to hybrids. I think one model that's not hybrid yet is the Toyota Corolla Cross, but there is a hybrid coming. I don't know when the hybrid comes, but it is available internationally now, and I guess it will be available at a future date for sure. So good news. Well, that is your At the Wheel review of the Toyota Camry Hybrid. We hope you enjoyed that, and we hope you enjoyed the show, the first hour of Cruise Control. We will be back with plenty more, so stay tuned to the second hour of Cruise Control. Time for me to say, I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you
Radio is
down the
your
road.
on-air automotive magazine. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com
Pretty
for
cool.
more information.